This is a brand new, but deliverable maybe 2017. Maybe 2 of them will be delivered before the end of the year. But again, while they may be good, it would also be late. Some people say, why not buy second-hand F-15 or F-16? They're available. And the NSA, National Security Advisor, in a hearing on May 8 in the Senate, said the South China Sea row or external threat is the biggest security threat for the Philippines. That is the statement of the National Security Advisor. But very surprisingly, the Philippine Army and the Armed Forces of the Philippines canceled the shore-based missile project, and in its place decided to buy about the same equivalent amount of helmets, about 81,000 helmets, vests, and other protection equipment for the Philippine Army. And that disappointed a lot of people. A lot of people are questioning that, including myself. We are talking of an external threat, but all of a sudden we look inward instead of addressing the external threat. Here's an example of a shore-based missile system that can be used for asymmetric warfare as well as area denial and anti-access. If you are a ship commander, you would have to think of some missiles hiding somewhere in Palawan, somewhere in Zambales, that can do this to your ship. So now the Chinese Navy will only worry about the 81,000 helmets in the Philippine Army instead of the missiles. And again, contradicting the position of the AFP, a statement from Malacanang saying the Philippines is aware of the serious situation in disputed areas. That's the palace. This was just the other day, August 23. But again, very surprisingly, during the change of command ceremony for the new flag officer in command, Admiral Takad was quoted as saying that there is no Chinese expansion going on in the South China Sea, and that the threat today is less than the threat of the past. I don't know, I cannot understand that kind of a statement from the new flag officer in command, so that is something that he must explain. What are the possible scenarios? These are the things that we have to consider, because the US has been making very strong statements, and I think every day there's the increasing possibility that they're indeed going to make good the statement that they will go inside and go within the 12-mile limit of the islands that are being constructed there. Number one, will the US really send their warships and aircraft within 12 nautical miles of the reclaimed reefs? That is going to be provocative. Number two, if and when this happens, what would be the most likely response of China? China probably doesn't know by now, and the US doesn't know. Number three, what would be the reaction of the Philippines before the announced entry in force of the US Navy? And again, at this point, I'd like to stress that this is not about the Philippines. If the US will take action here, it is not about the Philippines. It's about the United States interest. Number four, while the US is deploying and building up their forces in the South China Sea, how would we assist our treaty ally? Should we allow the US use of our military bases? Number five, and we did that already because that P-8 Poseidon came from Clark Air Base. Number five, what about if there's already a face-off? What statements should we make? How should the AFP, particularly the Philippine Navy, prepare for the various contingencies? Number six, and should there be an actual shooting confrontation, God forbid, what role should the Philippines take to protect our national interests? Should we allow the US combat assets access to our bases? It goes without saying that our medical facilities should be made available to casualties from all sides. And number seven, there should be a methodical assessment of the likelihood of the above scenarios so the Philippines can properly prepare. The time could be very short or it could be very long. Of course, we have to consider also China's current economic upheaval. there's this news of the stock market tumble. 40% of their stock market value, that's about $4 trillion, have gone down. And I'd like to quote this: to some China experts who lament the dearth of political reforms on Mr. Xi's agenda, a silver lining out